Hello everyone, I hope you're all doing well. First of all, I'm really very sorry that I have not been able to, I could not really post a lot of videos of late for a very simple reason that mains abhi bus, we are just verging closer and closer to mains. And इसीलिए there were a lot of students who were constantly in touch. चाहे वो हिस्ट्री ऑप्शनल हो या फिर हिस्ट्री हो या GS1 हो social issues, Indian society. So many things were to be taken care of. Plus, I had constant classes, so clearly. But more importantly, I personally feel that this is more like a movement, that I'm steering with you all because I think that there are some very inherent issues with the ways in which students prepare for mains examination, but nobody really addresses them. And despite the fact that there is so much of noise with regards to mains answer writing, not everybody really talks about it as much as it should really matter to everyone. So clearly, in this particular series of videos, here it is another very important video where I'm going to discuss with regards to how do we approach the body of the answer. So clearly, the body of the answer, the body of an answer is very important. Yes, it is one of the most, it is certainly one of the most fundamental aspects of answer writing. There is no doubt about it. अगर बॉडी अच्छी नहीं है तो कोई फर्क नहीं पड़ता है कि आपने कितना अच्छा इंट्रोडक्शन लिखा है, कितने अच्छे नक्शे और ये सारी चीज़ें बना रखी हैं, चित्रहार वगैरह. It is very important that you have to have your body very rich. But rich in what sense? Most importantly, if you look at it, so body it has to be made sure that दो तरीके से आप अपनी बॉडी को आपको रिच बनाना है अपने आंसर की बॉडी को. One is of course the content, content very important. But the other very important feature with respect to the body of an answer is structure. Is structure. Now the problem here is that everybody really emphasizes so much upon the content, but not a lot of people really emphasize upon the structure of the body. So that becomes a very important. It really changes the entire game altogether. Because I always tell my students that if content is the king, then structure is certainly the queen of the entire answer writing game, right? So clearly, एक चीज तो साफ है कि सिर्फ कंटेंट से आप नहीं जीत सकते हैं अपने आंसर राइटिंग regime में. You have to kind of have a certain kind of a routine where you are not only emphasizing upon the content but also on structure. As far as the body is concerned, so certainly I've already told you, मैंने आपको पहले भी बताया, that you are supposed to kind of start your answer. Of course, I've already made a very detailed in video कि आपका जो आंसर है वो इंट्रोडक्शन कैसा होना चाहिए उसका, प्लस उसके बाद में you will never make the transition to body, but rather there has to be a graphic. Very important, very important. There has to be a graphic with regards to your answers, and then it is only then that you need to have a body as well. Okay, then only you need to have a body. So clearly, very important, very essential. Now, I have already discussed in detail कि introduction कैसा दिखना चाहिए, how does it really look like, what does it really stand for, and how do we really approach it in a very structured manner. And same goes with graphic. मैंने आपको ऐसी टेक्निक्स बता दी थी लास्ट वीडियो में जिससे आपको कोई भी आप ग्राफिक बना सकते हैं हिस्ट्री के आंसर्स में, इंडियन सोसाइटी, सोशल जस्टिस, किसी भी तरीके के उसमें यू कैन एक्चुअली ड्रॉ अ लॉट ऑफ ग्राफिक्स. बट तरीका आपको पता होना चाहिए तभी आप बना पाएंगे, अदरवाइज ग्राफिक आप बहुत खराब भी बना सकते हैं. You might end up making very, very bad graphics, which don't really add any value to your answer. So you can, if you have not watched those videos, you can always watch those videos. And body, yes, let us just start with body, the body of the answer. So first and the foremost, there are some very fundamental concerns, that you need to keep in mind. That you need to keep in mind while formulating a certain body of the answer, right? While writing body of an answer. Very important. Very, very important, right? वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट. तो क्लियरली यहाँ पे अगर हम देखें सो इट इज़ वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट, तो मैं आपको कुछ चीज़ें बता दे रहा हूँ. सबसे पहला रूल तो ये है, यू नीड टू डिवाइड योर बॉडी इन टू पार्ट्स. डिवाइड द बॉडी into two parts. Into two parts. That is very important. Why? Because clearly that helps you what? That helps you make the entire answer, makes the answer complex. Makes the answer complex. Then if you look at it, excuse me, then if you look at it, so clearly, next very important aspect is that you need to create two different subheadings, two subheadings, number of points equals to marks allotted. Marks allotted. तो ये बहुत ही ज़्यादा ज़रूरी चीज़ है. That clearly, so clearly this is precisely how you are supposed to kind of, go about it. So clearly जिस तरीके से number of points हैं, जिस तरीके से जितने marks आपको allot हुए हैं, तो same number of points are supposed to be kind of, to be written, to be written. So clearly this is precisely how you are supposed to kind of, go about it. And then if you look at it, देन इफ यू लुक एट इट सो क्लियरली, जैसे अगर 10 मार्कर क्वेश्चन है तो आप 10 पॉइंट लिखिए. अगर 15 मार्कर क्वेश्चन है तो आप 13 से 15 पॉइंट लिखिए. This is precisely how you are supposed to go about it. And then if you look at it, so yes, what else is there? So clearly it is very important. Yes, number your points as 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So clearly, this is how you are supposed to kind of, number your points. क्योंकि होता क्या है that a lot of times what happens is that a lot of students check they kind of, number their points as A, B, C, D, or they don't number at all. They just put dots. No, you have to convince the examiner that you have already written a lot of points. That you have already written a lot of points. And you have to number them so that they don't have to apply any brains in calculating the number of points that you have written. Next in line is yes, keywords in the beginning of point. Keywords in the beginning of points, right? For example, if you have to kind of, write about, let's say, you know, you're supposed to write about the causes of Quit India movement. So clearly, you would want to kind of, you would not say Cripps proposal. You would rather want to suggest failure of British proposals. है ना? And then you are supposed to kind of, give Cripps mission as your Cripps proposal as your example, right? Next in line is yes, give examples. And how are you supposed to give examples? We will see. Okay. So let us just look through these kind of, things through an answer. Through an answer that we are going to write. Okay. So let us just see. Discuss the salient features of Harappan architecture. So I'm not going to write the introduction because I've already done a separate video for introduction. I'm not going to draw any map or any graphic at all because I've already done that before. But rather, I'm going to sort of give you a certain, body of the आंसर तो यहाँ पे हमें ये लिखना है यस व्हाट इज इट दैट वी कैन राइट यस salient features of Harappan architecture. Okay, so clearly first and the foremost you need to put it in the box. You need to put it in the box. Okay, why? Because clearly it is very important to put it in the box so that it gets that visibility. Very very important. अब यहाँ पे अगर हम यहाँ पे देखें तो हमें क्या बताना है सेलियंट फीचर्स ऑफ हड़प्पन आर्किटेक्चर है अब यहाँ पे या तो दो तरीके हैं that either we kind of write about the grid pattern. No, we don't have to do that. We have to write something about urban planning. This should be our keyword. Then write urban planning में लिखेंगे yes across the cities. एग्जाम्पल में हम लिख देंगे ग्रिड पैटर्न स्ट्रीट्स तो दो चीजें हुई यहाँ पे हमने एक तो यहाँ पे वी हैव बीन एबल टू सॉर्ट ऑफ राइट डाउन अ सर्टेन कीवर्ड उसके बाद में हमने पूरा सेंटेंस कंप्लीट किया एंड देन वी एंडेड अप काइंड ऑफ राइटिंग एन एग्जाम्पल एज वेल दिस इज वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट स्टूडेंट्स क्या करते हैं मैं आपको बताता हूँ कई बार स्टूडेंट या तो दो चीजें करते हैं या तो वो पूरा सेंटेंस इतना बड़ा बना देते हैं हद से ज्यादा या फिर वो क्या करते हैं कि सेंटेंस बस इतना ये दो कीवर्ड लिखेंगे और उसके बाद तुरंत ये लिख देते हैं एग्जाम्पल नहीं ऐसे कभी भी नहीं करना है ऐसे कभी भी नहीं करना है और दूसरी चीज यहाँ पे ये लोग ये भी करते हैं स्टूडेंट्स मैं अक्सर देखता हूँ दैट व्हाट डू दे डोंट राइट एग्जाम्पल एट ऑल एंड फिर वो ये बोलते हैं कि सर एग्जाम्पल तो हमें मिला ही नहीं एग्जाम्पल तो हमें मिला ही नहीं तो मैं आपको आज एक बात बता देता हूँ कि एग्जाम्पल कैसे मिलेगा आपको एग्जाम्पल आपको यस तो इसमें write the easiest example possible very important very important write the easiest example possible that is very important आप सबसे इजी एग्जाम्पल लिखिए अपने आप आपके एग्जाम्पल्स बनते चले जाएंगे स्टूडेंट्स क्या करते हैं मोस्ट ऑफ द टाइम, व्हाट डू स्टूडेंट्स डू इज दे वांट टू एस्पायर फॉर द मोस्ट डिफिकल्ट एग्जांपल. No, it doesn't really work like that. It doesn't work like that. You have to make sure that you are writing the easiest example possible. Second very important aspect here is that एक और चीज है यहाँ पे एग्जाम्पल को अच्छे से मजबूत करने का. You have to make sure that you remember one more thing, that points are generic. Examples are specific. Examples are specific. Points are generic and examples are specific. Okay, so clearly this is precisely something which is very important. क्या मतलब होता है इसका? इसका मतलब ये होता है पॉइंट्स आप बिल्कुल सिंपल लिखिए और उसमें कोई proper noun na hai. Proper noun, you understand that there should not be a name place of a, name of an animal, name of a, like name of a man, name of an individual, name of a dynasty, or for that matter, or anything on these, lines. You can't really be doing that. But इससे बढ़िया आप ये है that वो जितनी भी proper noun वाली चीजें हैं, you better sort of do them in the example. दैट इज वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट. जैसे एक और चीज हम देखते हैं. यस, लेट अस जस्ट सी. पब्लिक स्ट्रक्चर्स. पब्लिक स्ट्रक्चर्स फॉर rituals. Rituals. Don't write very long sentences. How to not write very long sentences? You need to continue the sentence. You need to continue the sentence. That becomes like a major way in which you could reduce the number of words that you are writing. Next in line is, yes, very important, example. Example, yes. Great bath. Great bath at Mohenjo-daro. At Mohenjo-daro. At Mohenjo-daro. Right? So clearly this is precisely how you are supposed to kind of, go about it. आप इस तरीके से अगर करेंगे, trust me guys, students, I must tell you that this kind of an answer writing, it will always enable you to fetch for more marks. Why? Because अगर आपने introduction, and if you have watched the videos on introduction and graphic, trust me, this is a very good structure for your preparation, for your level. Why? Because clearly it gives a lot of clarity to the answer. Okay, so clearly this is very important. Next in line is, yes. So how do we kind of, so suppose let's say you have written 5 points here. You have written 6 points here. You have written 7 points here. So what are you going to do? Next subheading that you are supposed to do here is you write significance. That's it. You write significance of Harappan architecture. Yes, again put it in the box. Put it in the box. कुछ वर्ड्स तो आप याद कर लीजिए एकदम. You need to learn some words by heart. For example, for example, yes, reflects architectural heritage. Why have we not written just heritage? Why? Because the question is specifically asking about architecture. Architectural heritage of the past. Of the past. Of the past. Right? Example, example. Why not? Why not? Rakhi Gadi in Haryana. In Haryana. Why not? Similarly, if you look at it, so next one, next point could be what? Next point could be yes. Continuation to modern day cities. Modern day cities. Example. What would be the example here? Continuation to modern day cities, right? So clearly, the example that we have here would be yes. Example Jaipur, Chandigarh with grid cities, with grid layout. That's it. So, did you just see that what we tried to do here? We have rather been very, very simple in terms of the structure. We have rather been very, very simple in terms of the points. The points have rather been very generic in nature. But if you look at it, so it is the examples which where we have laid more emphasis upon because clearly the examples are going to add more and more marks to your subject, right? So clearly this is precisely how one kind of goes about it. Next is the sculptures filled the Chandela art form with resilient vigor and breadth of life. Elucidate. Now, how do we go about a certain kind of a question like this? Very easy question. Trust me, guys. Very, very easy question. अगर आप देखेंगे तो क्या जरूरत है? First of all, we need to underline the keywords here. Elucidate. Every word is very important. Every word is very important. So now what are we going to do here? So clearly it is very important. Let us just see. Let us just write down yes. So clearly yes. Let us just see yes. सबसे पहला yes. दो पार्ट में इसको डिवाइड करना है. दो पार्ट में इसको डिवाइड करना है. कैसे करेंगे? सबसे पहले तो हम लोग लिख देंगे अबाउट दी Chandela sculptors representing vigor and breadth. Okay. Why? So that the examiner knows that we are very much in aligned with the demand of the question. So clearly, first and the foremost, if you look at it, so clearly, इसके लिए थोड़ा कंटेंट आपको थोड़ा सा तो पता ही होना चाहिए. There is no doubt. But ठीक है, let us just see. So clearly, let us just see. So first one, if you look at it, rich aesthetics, rich aesthetics with carvings, carvings on deities. Now you know that if you would have seen Khajuraho temples, you would have seen that clearly they have also emphasized much on facial expressions and jewelry. So you can write that example here. अभी आपको temples के अगर नाम पता है, don't write the names right now. Why? वो बाद के लिए बचा के रखिए आप. Example jewelry and expressions, expressions with rich carvings, rich carvings, right? हो गया आपका एग्जाम्पल. A very simple example, but a very good example, a very good one. Next, we can write something like finish in architecture. Architecture. Finish in architecture with Mithun sculptures. Mithun sculptures. Example. Example. Sculptures at Kandariya Mahadev Temple. Kandariya Mahadev Temple. Mahadev Temple. Kandariya Mahadev Temple. Very, very important, right? Very, very important. तो इस तरीके से अगर आप देखेंगे तो दिस इज प्रिसाइजली हाउ यू आर सपोज टू काइंड ऑफ गो अबाउट इट. तो आपने देखा कि दो हमने एग्जाम्पल लिखे मगर कितने सिंपल एग्जाम्पल हैं. एक हमने स्पेसिफिक डाल दिया, एक बहुत ही सिंपल डाल दिया. सो दिस इज प्रिसाइजली हाउ यू आर सपोज टू गो अबाउट इट. सेकेंड हाफ में क्या लिखें? अरे सिग्निफिकेंस लिख लीजिए आप सेकेंड हाफ में. Second half में you could again write the significance. Now you tell me one thing. Now you tell me one thing. Here's the magic. If you write the significance like this, if you write the significance of this kind, do you not think that it's going to add to your marks? Simple. Same significance. Same significance. So clearly reflects architectural heritage of the past. Example. Example. Example कौन सा? एग्जाम्पल अगर हम देखें, यस, रिच हेरिटेज ऑफ द पास्ट, ऑफ द पास्ट. एग्जाम्पल. एग्जाम्पल विद्याधर टेम्पल. सॉरी, नॉट विद्याधर, बट रादर लक्ष्मण टेम्पल. एग्जाम्पल लक्ष्मण टेम्पल. यही है, बस यही करना है आपको और कुछ भी नहीं करना है. आपने देखा कि पुराना वाला ही हमने सिग्निफिकेंस यहाँ पे लगा दिया है. Similarly, if you look at it, so clearly, what else could you do? What else could you do? Continuation in later periods, in later periods, in later periods. Example, example, similar sculptures, sculptures from Vijayanagar period. Vijayanagar kingdom. From Vijayanagar kingdom. Just look at it. Just look at it. Do you not think that we can literally use the same significance where? Where? Over here. Do you not think that we can use the same significance over here as well? We can, right? We can. डू यू नॉट थिंक दैट भक्ति नेचर, अब जैसे ये वाला क्वेश्चन है, इवैल्यूएट द नेचर ऑफ भक्ति लिटरेचर। भाई ये वाले जो क्वेश्चन था इसमें हमने क्या किया, हाउ विल यू एक्सप्लेन मिडीवल इंडियन टेम्पल स्कल्पचर्स रिप्रेजेंट सोशल लाइफ ऑफ दोस डेज, इसमें भी यही हो सकता है। सिमिलरली इफ यू लुक एट इट, सिमिलरली इफ यू, थोड़ा बहुत चेंज तो होगा ही गाइस। आई एम नॉट सेइंग दैट you have to write down each and everything as it is, but certainly it will save a lot of time. Similarly, if you look at it, Bhakti literature and its contribution to Indian culture. Can you not write similar points? Continuation in later periods? Why not? Why not? भाई रस खान है यहाँ पे, सूरदास हैं, क्लियरली ये सब लोग हैं। एंड यहीं पे अगर हम देखें तो सोशो रिलीजियस रिफॉर्म्स हैं, मराठा किंगडम है, सो क्लियरली ऑल ऑफ दीज थिंग्स कुड अगेन बी यूज्ड हियर also if you look at it. But having said that, so this is precisely, and mind you, significance is not conclusion. Mind you, significance is not conclusion. Why do I say that? Because conclusion is yet to be discussed. To be discussed. Okay. Conclusion is yet to be discussed. Maybe I think what you would be benefited with is, that I could write down a simple question next time. मैं कोई एक subject पकड़ता हूँ and I will write down a simple question for you all so that you are able to understand कि body आखिर बनती कैसी है। एक वीडियो में it is not possible. For you also it will be very daunting, very overwhelming to learn about it just within a span of half an hour, but more and more practice is needed. So I think, with in the couple of, in the next couple of videos, we would rather want to kind of, write down a certain body, a certain, kind of a thing, so that, we are able to restructure our approach with regard to आंसर राइटिंग। आज जो मैंने मेन मुद्दे आपको बताए हैं, इट इज वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट। डिवाइड करिए अपनी बॉडी को आंसर की दो पार्ट्स में, दो सब हेडिंग्स बनाइए, नंबर ऑफ पॉइंट्स जो है आप 1 2 3 4 लिखिए, एंड देन इफ यू लुक एट 10 मार्कर पे 10 पॉइंट्स एंड 15 मार्कर पे 13 to 15 पॉइंट्स। कीवर्ड्स इन द बिगिनिंग ऑफ द पॉइंट्स, जैसे कि इस तरीके के एग्जाम्पल आपके जो है बहुत ही स्पेसिफिक होने चाहिए, मगर पॉइंट्स आपके बहुत ही ज्यादा जेनेरिक होने चाहिए। Trust me guys, if you have been able to cover up, if you have been able to cover even these points, basic points for your answer writing, so I think you will certainly see the change. In the next video we will do a very important question such as this on Gupta numismatic art, but till then you have to take good care of yourselves, keep practicing, and this time we are going to come up with a new video very, very soon. Thank you very much. Please take good care of yourselves.